Long ago, in feudal Japan, there was an old bamboo woodcutter living a simple life in the countryside alongside his faithful wife. Their hearts ached for the laugh of children to brighten their days. They were as poor as can be, so every morning he wandered into the woods seeking out the finest bamboo. With his trusty blade, he'd harvest the green stalks, then haul them home to fashion into all sorts of useful things. They barely scraped by selling their bamboo wares. Despite their hardships, their spirits remained unbroken, fueled by the hope that one day things might change. One morning, while out chopping bamboo as usual, the woodcutter stumbled upon a remarkable sight. Among the grove, a single bamboo stalk glowed with an otherworldly light, as if the moon itself had descended. Intrigued, he approached and discovered a tiny, beautiful creature nestled within the hollow stem, no bigger than his palm. It was a moment of pure wonder amidst his usual routine. The old woodcutter, convinced the tiny girl was a gift from the heavens, brought her home to his wife, who cared for her diligently. Their hearts swelled with joy as they showered the little girl with all the love they had longed to give their own child all these years. After finding the little girl, upon returning to the grove, the old man found gold, precious stones, and opulent textiles. His luck continued, and suddenly they were very wealthy. With their newfound riches, they built a grand home, leaving behind their days as the poor woodcutters. The child was miraculous indeed, for only 3 months later, she had grown into a full-sized girl. Her new parents set about adorning the celestial child with new garments, donned with a beautiful new kimono and an exquisite hairstyle. Her foster parents placed her behind screens like a princess so that none could witness her otherworldly beauty. She was tended to by none other than themselves. She appeared made of light, for the whole house was filled with a soft shine which made even the darkest of nights seem like daytime. Her mere presence incited joy and wonder in those near. It was time to give their lovely new daughter a name, so the bamboo cutter called in a renowned name giver. He gave her the name Princess Moonlight for the soft glow she emitted. A 3-day festival celebrated the naming of Princess Moonlight, filled with joyous song, dance, and music. Her beauty was unmatched, captivating all who beheld her, and her fame spread throughout the land. Suitors came from far and wide to seek her hand, drawn by tales of her unparalleled loveliness. Despite their initial disappointment, they remained steadfast in their quest to catch a glimpse of Princess Moonlight. They stationed themselves outside her house, even making holes in the fence in hopes of catching sight of her. Day and night, they sacrificed sleep and comfort, their determination unwavering. Despite being denied access to the house or any interaction with the old couple or servants, they persisted in their quest, driven by their burning desire to see the princess. Most eventually gave up and returned home, realizing the futility of their efforts. However, 5 samurai remained, their determination only growing stronger in the face of obstacles. They endured all weather conditions, foregoing meals and subsisting on whatever sustenance they could find, all to maintain their vigil outside the dwelling, unwavering in the pursuit of Princess Moonlight. Despite their efforts, the suitors received no response from Princess Moonlight, neither to the letters nor their heartfelt poems expressing their unwavering love and devotion. Through the harsh winter and into the sweltering heat of summer, they remained steadfast in their vigil outside her house. Exhausted and desperate, they pleaded with the old bamboo cutter to grant them even a glimpse of the princess. However, he could offer no solace, explaining that he had no authority to compel her to meet with them against her will, as he was not her true father. After receiving the bamboo cutter's stern refusal to grant them access to Princess Moonlight, the 5 samurai returned to their homes, still determined, though, to find a way to soften the princess's heart and gain an audience with her. They turned to prayer, kneeling before their household shrines, burning incense, and beseeching Buddha for guidance. Despite their efforts, they found no peace, unable to rest in their homes. They gathered their resolve once again and journeyed to the bamboo cutter's house. This time, they pleaded with him to convey their message to the princess, expressing the depth of their love and devotion, recounting the hardships they endured in their fervent pursuit of her, and begging for just one opportunity to plead their case directly to her. The bamboo cutter, feeling sympathy for the samurai, swiftly went to see the princess and plead their case. Princess Moonlight, although grateful for the old man's care, hesitated to marry any of the suitors. She expressed concern that their affections may wane once they truly know her, and she desired to test their love further. The old man argued that the suitors had already proven their dedication by waiting outside her home for months, but Princess Moonlight remained firm in her conviction, stating that they must each bring back something she desires from faraway lands: a stone bowl from India, a branch from the mythical tree on the mountain of Harai, the skin of a fire rat from China, a stone from the dragon's head, and a shell from a swallow's stomach. Upon delivery of Princess Moonlight's request, the suitors became disheartened and returned home in despair, realizing the seemingly impossible nature of the tasks. Upon returning home, the suitors decide their love for Princess Moonlight transcends the arduous tasks, prompting them to embark on their quest. The first samurai, unable to journey to India, deceives the princess by obtaining a false Buddha's bowl from a temple in Kyoto. When Princess Moonlight discovers the deception, she rejects the samurai's offer and refuses to see him again. He has no choice but to abandon hope of winning her hand, so he returns home defeated. The second samurai fabricates an elaborate tale of his journey to Mount Harai to explain the origin of the branch to Princess Moonlight. He thought himself clever by hiring esteemed artisans to craft the gold branch. However, his deception is exposed when the jewelers who crafted the branch arrive seeking payment. Realizing his deceit, Princess Moonlight rejects the branch and generously compensates the jewelers. Enraged by his failure, the samurai lashes out at the jewelers before retreating to a solitary life in the mountains, abandoning his pursuit of the princess. The third samurai, in his quest to procure the fire rat's skin, sought aid from a friend in China. Upon receiving the skin, Princess Moonlight immediately threw it into a fire to see if it would burn. The skin was naught but ash after mere seconds. Disappointed once again, Princess Moonlight rejects the third samurai's offering, signaling another failure in the suitor's attempts to win her hand. The fourth samurai, lacking in initiative like his predecessors, opts for a different approach to fulfill Princess Moonlight's request. Instead of embarking on the quest himself, he commands his servants to search far and wide in Japan and China for the dragon bearing the 5-color radiating jewel. However, rather than earnestly undertaking the task, his servants disregard his orders and take advantage of the situation by enjoying leisurely outings and lamenting their master's impractical demands, putting the fourth samurai out of contention. The fourth samurai, confident in his retainer's ability to find the dragon jewel, prepares his house beautifully for Princess Moonlight's reception, convinced of his imminent success. However, as a year passes without any sign of the jewel, desperation sets in. Unable to wait any longer, he reluctantly sets out on a ship with 2 men in search of the dragon. Despite facing a fierce storm and ultimately being blown ashore, the fourth samurai decides to abandon his quest due to exhaustion and illness. After being rescued by the governor of the place they washed ashore, he finds himself bitter and resentful towards Princess Moonlight, blaming her for his misfortunes. However, he realizes his own disillusionment with adventure and vows to never again approach the princess's house. Similarly, the fifth samurai also fails in his quest to find the swallow's shell, adding to the growing list of unsuccessful suitors. By this time, Princess Moonlight's renowned beauty has captured the attention of the emperor, who sent a court lady to verify the rumors. Despite her father's pleas, Princess Moonlight refuses to meet the court lady, fearing the consequences of defying the emperor's order. She warns her father that if forced to comply, she would vanish from the earth altogether. Upon learning of Princess Moonlight's adamant refusal, the emperor decides to visit her himself. Planning a hunting excursion near the bamboo cutter's house, he seeks permission from the old man and sets out with his retinue. Upon arrival, he is captivated by Princess Moonlight's unparalleled beauty, unable to tear his gaze away. Despite her attempts to avoid him, the emperor implores her to listen, but she can only hide her face in her sleeves in response. Upon learning of Princess Moonlight's adamant refusal, the emperor decides to visit her himself. Planning a hunting excursion near the bamboo cutter's house, he seeks permission from the old man and sets out with his retinue. Upon arrival, he is captivated by Princess Moonlight's unparalleled beauty, unable to tear his gaze away. Despite her attempts to avoid him, the emperor implores her to listen, but she can only hide her face in her sleeves in response. The emperor, deeply enamored by Princess Moonlight's beauty, pleads with her to come to the court, promising her honor and riches beyond measure. Ready to summon an imperial palanquin to escort her back immediately, he insists her grace belongs in the court, not hidden away in a bamboo cutter's cottage. However, Princess Moonlight intervenes, warning that she would turn into a shadow if forced to leave. True to her words, her form begins to fade before the emperor's very eyes. Moved by her plight, the emperor promises to leave her be if she returns to her original form, which she does. Reluctantly, he bids her farewell, knowing he must return to his retinue, who are surely wondering about his prolonged absence. Despite his departure, Princess Moonlight remains in his thoughts incessantly, inspiring him to compose poems professing his affection. Though she refuses to see him again, she reciprocates with verses of her own, gently but firmly asserting her refusal to marry anyone on earth. These exchanges of poetry become a source of solace and joy for the emperor, keeping the memory of Princess Moonlight alive in his heart. As the days passed, Princess Moonlight's foster parents noticed her nightly ritual of sitting on the balcony, gazing at the moon with profound sadness and tears in her eyes. Concerned, the old man implores her to reveal the cause of her sorrow. With tears streaming down her face, Princess Moonlight reveals that she is not of this world, but originally hails from the moon. Her time on Earth is drawing to a close as her friends from the moon are set to retrieve her on the 15th day of August. The Emperor, upon receiving the distressing news, dispatches a guard of 2,000 well-trained warriors to watch over the house on the fateful day. 1,000 warriors are stationed on the roof, while another 1,000 stand guard around all entrances. In a bid to protect her, the bamboo cutter and his wife hide Princess Moonlight in an inner room. The old man, determined to protect Princess Moonlight, orders everyone to remain vigilant as they await the moon messengers. Despite their efforts, Princess Moonlight sadly informs him that their measures will be futile against her moon people, who will surely take her back. With tears, she expresses her deep sorrow at leaving her beloved foster parents behind. As night turns to dawn, a cloud descends from the moon, carrying luminous beings held by a regal figure who calls out to the old man. Despite his plea, the messenger insists on Princess Moonlight's return, revealing her true identity. Then, as the screens slide open, Princess Moonlight emerges, radiant and beautiful, confirming her destiny to return to the moon. Led forth by the messenger, Princess Moonlight bids a tearful farewell to the old man, comforting him with words of solace and urging him to remember her whenever he gazes at the moon. He begs to accompany her, but she is not allowed, so she gifts him her embroidered garment as a keepsake. In the chariot, she is offered a coat of wings and the elixir of life, which she attempts to share with the old man, but is prevented from doing so. Before departing, Princess Moonlight insists on writing a final farewell letter to the Emperor while still in her human form. With the letter and the elixir of life entrusted to the old man, the chariot ascends towards the moon as dawn breaks, disappearing amidst the morning clouds. Princess Moonlight's letter reaches the palace, but the Emperor, fearing the elixir of life, sends it with the letter to Mount Fuji, where it is burnt at sunrise by royal emissaries. Legend has it that smoke can still be seen rising from the top of Mount Fuji to this day. So it just goes to show, deception ultimately leads to disappointment and failure.